let's talk about my favorite MC series. My name is Marissa Danforth, and please subscribe, like, and comment. I'm going to talk about my new favorite author, K.L. Savage. Well, it's actually authors because it's two friends that came together to write books that they would actually like to read. I, of course, listened to these books on Audible, and it is narrated by Logan McAllister and Sierra Kine. I'm going to go over the first few books because this is going to end up being a series because I think there's 15 or 17 books now. I don't know. I've read them all. I lost count. So this will be a series. If you like the Ruthless Kings, either follow or see if you want to join me in reading this series as it comes out. All right, let's get started. So the first book is called Reaper's Rise, and this is kind of the point 5, the introduction to the MC. Now, MC means motorcycle club if you did not know. It's pretty much how he gained custody of his best friend's kid, and he realizes that the clubhouse just isn't a good environment for a child to grow in, so he needs to make some adjustments. And in this book, it also goes over how Sarah gets involved with the MC. She ends up showing up covered in bruises. She ran from somewhere, she escaped, and she's there for protection and help and to find her family. And this kind of sets up the scene about how the rest of the series is going to go, because it's how they take care of their own and the lengths that they will go to get revenge or take care of a problem and to protect their loved ones and their cared for ones. Pretty much they go out to get revenge on who hurt Sarah. Now, I am going to say this now because for the rest of the series, it needs trigger warnings. There is violence, strong language, there is abuse, there is sexual abuse, and more. This whole series goes into the nitty-gritty of all sensitive topics. So book 1 is called Reaper. So this story is about Reaper and Sarah. It is 2 years later and is an age gap romance. Yeah, we like those. So in the beginning of the book, it starts off with Reaper being anti-Sarah. Nope, you are too young. I know you're 18 now, and he is just withholding all of his attraction to her. Now, she has always made it known that she is attracted to him, but in his mind, she was his ward. He was to care for her and help raise her. Obviously, some chemistry stuff changes, and it grows into a relationship. Now, this is when it comes to light that Sarah has a crazy stalker out there, and it also introduces the Morettis, which is the mafia that they work with sometimes too. A whole bunch of action happens. It is violent, it is action-packed, and Sarah's right into the middle of it and needs to be rescued. Just perfect. Now, Reaper is an alpha to the T. He is super protective and becomes kind of a psycho when it comes to Sarah. It gets wild. They need to figure out who the stalker is, how they're going to take care of the problem, and the process with that, and some of the healing that Sarah has to do from the experience that she went through during the whole situation. So it's a really good action-packed love story, and it really brings in a lot of the other characters from the MC too, like the bantering, the bickering, the relationships, and the different personalities and the characterization from them, and brings in just 2 points of view. So it's Sarah's point of view and Reaper's point of view, and it's just really, really good. I love me an age gap, so this fit right into my little criteria box of yes. And I really love that this book is emotionally driven too, so you literally feel everything that the characters are going through. So I don't know. I'm just a fan, and you will realize that theme through every book. Book 2 is about Boomer and Scarlet Rose. It starts off with Boomer just not feeling like he fits in. He doesn't understand the club life. As far as he knows, it's why his father died. It is well, all he associates it with is blood, death, violence, and loss. So he decides to just leave. He doesn't have a destination in mind, but he just feels like he has to go. I think it's more of a journey to find himself and figure out where he belongs versus the club not caring for him, because everybody in the club does love and care for him. I mean, that's just my opinion on why he felt he had to go. So when he gets to where he's going to reside, he ends up finding a good little home to live, which is where you meet Homer, which turns out to be one of my favorite characters. Oh, I love Homer. Anyways, him and Homer are working on the house, and he finds a injured woman, and she kind of tells him what's going on. Like, there's some girls that need to be rescued. So when he learns this information, he also kind of learns that it's with another chapter of the Ruthless Kings. Now, it seems like that they're up to no good, because they do have club laws. You do not hurt women, you do not hurt children. You can skirt on the edge of the law, but don't mess with the women and the kids. And this is when Scarlett's introduced. And her story is she's captured and held in this basement by these men. She doesn't know who they are, and her experience from it. Now, eventually, of course, Boomer comes to save her, and a whole bunch of stuff happens, more violence and all of that. And of course, the regular chapter, we're going to call it the Vegas chapter because that's the main one, gets involved. So they're on the hunt for Boomer, and they come and they find him and kind of find out what's going on in this little town, that this chapter is just breaking all of the rules. So I really like that this focuses on the healing process of Scarlett and also the journey of Boomer finding himself. It also touches on mental health and the healing of that and figuring out the right diagnosis to get the care that you need. And another really cool thing is this turns into a series of its own. So it's book 2 of this series, but Boomer gets his own little series. I mean, come on. So much thought and planning had to have gotten into this because it's just amazing. So their little journey just really was unexpected, and I didn't think it would take the turn that it did. So it's another reason why I really enjoy these books, is because they're just unpredictable. All right, let's go to the next. All right, book 3 will be the last one I'll talk about today. Book 3 is about Tool. This book really delves into the fucked up past that Tool had. He grew up in a very abusive home as a kid, and it is just so atrocious, the things that happened to him as a kid and the things that his mom went through too. He feels like he's tarnished. Like, this is I don't want to be with this good girl because I don't want to tarnish her and I don't want to ruin her. I really like themes like that too, to where it's just like he doesn't know his self-worth. Self-worth. Okay, I can speak. In this book, it really shows his development of learning his self-worth too. And you have Juliet, who is very sheltered, good girl, daddy's girl, and her dad is the main sheriff of Vegas. At this point, Reaper calls in a debt that is owed to him by Tool, and he's calling it, and he's like, as the debt that is owed, you will not go after Juliet. Like, we do not need to get in any type involvement with the sheriff. He already has it out against the MC to begin with. They keep running into each other, and it's getting harder and harder and harder for Tool to not go after her, because the attraction's there, the chemistry's there, and he wants this woman. So he doesn't want to go against the president of the club, but he also realizes that the sheriff is a crooked cop. So kind of to protect her, he needs to be involved with her. So he's just going to have to pay the consequences. And as it's coming to light about this shitty cop, she's learning the truth too. Like, she's like, oh my God, my dad's not who he has claimed to be her whole life. Like, it just, everything switches and turns immediately. And he is into some very shady stuff and tries to sell his own daughter. So Tool has to go through hoops and find out where she is, and pretty much she's being held captive by her dad and is running a couple illegal rings around town. It's not just sex rings, it's other things too, and that all comes to light. I just really enjoy the dark and twisted stories of this, and the healing that they have to go through, and the sensitive topics that need to be brought to light because they do happen in every day. A common theme through these books you'll notice is sex trafficking. Now, I think her name's Stephanie Harlow. She has a really good video about sex trafficking that needs to be talked about more often, and she opens up a lot of views on it and very good statistics and stories of other people that have gone through it in real life. So, I mean, that's one thing I really like about these authors. They lay it out there. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, that's brave. Like, there are some other dark and twisty authors out there too. So, I don't know, maybe it's just something that I like to read because I like reading the good parts that come out of it. Like, yes, they're tragic stories, but there is a happy ending still. So I get best of both worlds. In Tool, you also get to meet some more characters. You meet some of my favorite. You meet Braveheart, and you also meet some of the New Orleans chapters. And Seer is creepy but freaking amazing. And he pops up more and more throughout the rest of the series too. It's just so good and so well planned that you just never know what's going to happen. I mean, I didn't even get into the mafia stuff yet. So there's going to definitely be more to come with me talking about this series. The narration is really good for these books. Not my favorite, but still really good. It's definitely tolerable. A lot of the complaints I saw on this was the grammar errors throughout the story. But I mean, these girls are not professionals. They're not like English majors. They are literally two friends that came together and decided to put a series that they would read together. So I think that's driven. That's really good, and I have so much respect for that. And every story gets better. It's doable. So if you're really picky about grammar, listen to the book. If you can't handle the narrators, read the books. I've done both. So Kindle Unlimited, it is available for you to read if you're a part of the little Kindle club, and I do the audio. Oh, and the smut. The smut is fantastic. Every single book that I've read, it is fantastic. It doesn't take over the whole story, and it is good. Like, you can read it and the chemistry just flows through your fingertips, you know? And, oh, I shouldn't say that. That was not a pun. But overall, it's just good. So if you enjoyed this video or are thinking about reading this book, comment down below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.